Okay, so how to get big. Pretty much how to bulk up. I'm just gonna go right away and explain the simple steps that I adapted. I'm gonna explain later how this affected me and how like it influenced me in my training and everything. But let me just explain what is necessary first. Tip number one: clean carbs, clean protein, and no sugar. I'm not really gonna go over all the foods that you need because it's a long list. So I'm just gonna leave it right here. You want to pause the video and check it out for yourself. Go ahead. But this image right here, like the list, is literally what worked for me. That's pretty much everything that I followed. The sugar, the no sugar part is going to be very difficult for some people because let's face it, sugar is absolutely everywhere. Everywhere you go, there's sugar. There's it like, bro, it's everywhere. You know, you go to the mall with your friend, you might see this donut stamp or this chocolate something stamp. There's sugar everywhere. Stay away from sugar because that's literally going to stop the muscle growth. Obviously, like take some sugar in with some fruits. That can pretty much be your only source of sugar, but don't get like donuts in and all of this chocolate gummies stuff because that's just it's unhealthy shit. Don't just cut it out right away, and because it's not gonna allow you to grow. Clean carbs is pretty easy, just pasta and everything and rice, and then protein is pretty simple: chicken, meat, and literally any type of meat, and that's it. Now you can use other supplements if you want, like creatine and protein shakes, but me personally, like I've never really used those. I've never used any protein powder, never used any creatine ever. Not even in my books. So like I know how they work, but I've just never really used them. I think what people should do first is they should know how to train naturally, right? See at what level they can get to. And you know, if they're not growing how they want to and they want to speed up the process a little bit, then yeah, sure, add creatine into the mix, add some protein powder in there, and let's see how that works for you. Obviously, if you're going to be using creatine, please use it wisely. Tip number two: you don't have to eat big to get big. All right, I feel like that's a phrase that I hear a lot. Obviously, just eat large meals, man. Eat large meals, but don't be stuffing yourself with food 24/7. Like, don't be eating like an absolute animal. Don't be ordering like a massive ass family pizza in a Friday night. Just simply eat meals, all right? And don't order pizza, by the way. That's the fats on that will completely stop the muscle growth. Just don't be stuffing yourself with food, honestly. Like, just eat big meals throughout the day. I personally was eating between 2,500 and 3,000 calories per day because that's what worked for me. I don't really track calories. I just knew that I calculated the things I ate every single day, and like that's what I had in mind. Sometimes I went a little bit over 2,500 but I can assure you I've never gone over 3,000, and I always stayed in that range. That's at least what I knew, because counting calories for me is just something that's a little bit unnecessary. It's just like an extra thing in your mind that doesn't really make sense, and if I'm not going to be competing or anything, then it's just honestly not something worth having in mind. Number three is train harder and lift heavier. All right, I feel like this is pretty obvious. What I mean is just lift heavier weight by the week. So if you're machine pressing, for example, 50 kg this week, you know, bulk up through this day today, right? And then just work your way towards 55 kg, towards machine pressing 55 kg, and then the week after that or the next week or two, earn your way to 60, and then 65, and then 70 and 75, and so on and so forth. Because the food that you will be putting in your system will allow you to lift heavier weight, and the heavier you essentially lift, the more muscle will be constructed in your body. Now, don't be ego lifting, please, and train with a good form. All right, if you just doing like a stupid ass form, then bro, listen, it's not really gonna be implementing. You gotta hit it with a good contraction. All right, and slow down with it, and just know what you're hitting. Know the amount of reps that you're hitting. Try to go for reps that are in between 10 or 15. Like maybe start with 15, then another set of 15, right? Then maybe go down to 12, then another one of 12, and then just go like one that's like a fucking brutal one of 10. Like slow down 10. Just that's what I recommend, at least. That's what I usually do in the gym, and that's what usually has made me grow. Because I see a lot of people, they like, you know, they get on the bulking diet, but they lift the exact same weight that they were lifting before they started bulking. And if you do that, bro, you're not gonna grow. You gotta lift heavier because of the food that you're putting in your body. And as I said, that will allow more muscle to be constructed. And tip number 4 is have rested. If you do not give your body time to rest, you're not gonna grow. Your body is not gonna grow. And this is something that was like super stressful for me. It's like, oh shit, I didn't train today. And I wasn't really like wanting to get big. I just simply, I didn't, it was like the fact that I didn't work out. It wasn't mentally peaceful, I guess you could say. I remember this one time I went like 3 days without training, and like the second day I had like my whole forearm was just pumped, and that was the response of my body saying, hey, I'm growing because you're giving me time to rest. All right, now, and then after 3 days, you're back on training and you're back on growing. But if you're training 6-7 times a week, crazy, and you're only giving your body 1 day to rest, then you're gonna notice difference, all right, a lot, but you're not gonna grow as much. You're actually limiting a lot of that growth because of the days that you're training. I'd recommend 5 or 4 days per week, and then those 4 days go all in, bro. Just go all in as you can. I'm talking 2 hours in the gym. But yeah, those are pretty much like the 4 tips that I implemented to get big. Usually for me it was just a process of just like, I thought that I was already naturally good. I'm genetically very well built, and obviously this has required effort a lot, but I still like the way that I've been able to transform my physique throughout these last 2 years. For me, it's been very impressive. But basically, for me, I just thought that I was already like big enough, and I actually started cutting last summer. The previous summer I started cutting. I was like, oh, okay, let me lower down the body fat, because I had some body fat over here, and I wanted like my 6-pack to be this like 0% body fat, just like a pure 6-pack right here. That was like, I needed to grow, man. I remember like my upper body was pretty good, but my arms were a little bit small. I knew I had to grow, so I started bulking in around August, I believe. Started hitting it hard, ate the right meals, showed up every time to the gym most of the time. Give myself a couple of rest days every week, and yeah, it grew to that, man. And it was great, honestly. My aim personally is not to be this big dude. It's definitely not to compete. I just simply want to build a good physique. Yeah, that's pretty much all that I wanted to say. I just felt motivated to do this right away. Literally, like, I just got on the phone, typed some notes, and bam, here I am. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say. But guys, thanks for watching so much, and so yeah, stay tuned, and yeah, thanks for watching.